a 15-minute shopping trip will turn to a 30-minute, 40-minute shopping trip, just purely chatting about the game. The most influential person in my GAA career has, as cliche as it sounds, has been my parents. Dad especially, taking me to trainings. Dad was involved with GAA throughout his whole life, and he's passed that on to myself and my brothers. Whether it be taking me to training, taking me down to the pitch for extra sessions on a Sunday, not taking it too bad when I break a few windows practicing around the house. So I definitely would say my dad on the football front, but then my mum as well, being the sounding board for when maybe have a few bad days. So it's definitely my parents. There's been a healthy competition growing up, and definitely is a good environment to grow up in. The older ones, I guess, more involved in the tech side. He's very good with computers, but the younger ones, he's a bit bigger than me himself, and he's just been riddled with injuries the past while. Good garden games, and it's probably helped me along the way. As I said before, that healthy competition around the household, learning to lose and learning to win as well. The gooch, purely due to the ginger hair growing up. So I had a carry top with 13 in the back. I was a bit different. He's obviously a nippy corner forward, whereas I'm a defending midfielder. I just loved watching the gooch growing up, what he could do with the ball. It was special, and watching the All-Ireland finals, watching matches, you would go out to try to emulate his way of playing out in the garden. So it was definitely the gooch. All redheads have brilliant brains, so he's definitely a once in a generation player. It's just a part of life when you're in the county setup. You're in a bubble to a certain degree in terms of the professional side of it, but like any GAA county player loves the sport. They love chatting about it. If you go home, your parents are asking you about it, your siblings are asking you about it. You go up to town, and a 15-minute shopping trip will turn to a 30-minute, 40-minute shopping trip, just purely chatting about the game. We obviously train hard and train a lot as county players. It might be 4 or 5 times a week, but you've got to have time to yourself as well on those off days. So I try to get away from the GAA and get away from sport altogether, and you've got to have all our passions out there, or else you drive yourself mad. Previously I would have liked to go for a coffee, whereas downtime now I want to get away from a coffee, so I'm still finding that out. I like to get out in nature. There's a place, Portrush in Port Stewart. It's lovely by the beach, so just going on beach walks, listening to music, spending time with a partner, like there's always something to do, especially when the weather's good. A lot of ones probably work on their weaknesses, but again, you've got to focus on what you're good at and focus on your strengths. You're never an expert in that regard, so I spend a lot of time on high fielding, on my defensive play as well. But then again, areas that I can improve on is my attacking play, getting my hands on the ball more, taking men on. That's one thing I've tried to emulate into my game. There's a few different things. There's video analysis, like you can take bits of other players, like you can take it the way David Clifford goes at a man, or Paddy Durkin, or anyone like that. There's different sort of players that are good at certain things. So you can practice on the training pitch. You don't really know how you get on until it's in a match situation. So the more situations you can be in training, better off you're going to be when it comes to games. So I'd work closely with the keeper, Oren Lynch. He's obviously working on his goalkeeping and his kickouts, so it goes hand in hand. And if I was working on my offensive play, someone else might be working on their defensive play. So it goes hand in hand, and there's always someone to work with.